where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John JJ Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast with myself, your host, Edgar De Jesus. And yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with John JJ Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and the famous Zach, the Pool Boy Nicholas. In today's podcast, we talk about the different challenges that we see going into the summer of 2022, and we're going to break those down. I want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, the podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our sponsors for this podcast, the Ultimate Pool Tools, the SPPA, poolinvoice.com, and Blu-ray XL. We want to thank them for their continued support. Zach, good morning.
Good morning, Pool Nation. Happy Friday. So kind of random note here. I discovered something this week that I'm really thrilled about. Have you guys heard of Zappos?
The shoe thing?
Yeah.
Shoe thing? Yeah.
I'm feeling like I'm finally getting with the times. So I'm the type of person that I buy shoes like maybe once a year, and I'm having a harder and harder time. I go to these stores and they're making these like super bright, colorful, huge soles with like these springs on the back and stuff. And so last year I haven't really been able to find a decent pair of shoes, and my shoes are actually peeling apart right now. The soles are coming off, and someone showed me Zappos the other night. So I finally just ordered a pair of shoes this morning, and I'm feeling good about it. So overall, it's a good week, a good Friday, and Daddy's going to have some new shoes.
Now, question for you, because for some reason, again, figure it's me. Like, I can't just go buy shoes because I'm different sizes and different types of shoes. Do you have that problem or no?
You got to get into like the kid zone, right?
Maybe that's is like bordering.
Shots fired right off the bat, man. I haven't even said good morning, John, and he's already shooting. Good Lord. Oh, shit.
I'm sure you have difficult in the wrong department, bro. To an adult shoe store and then you're trying to find shoes. It's not going to work.
Man, good Lord. What's up, Jay, Janie, First Response, Maria, Jeanette? Big shout out to all you guys out there. Let me see if I can change this conversation into a different direction because there's shots fired right off the bat. You know what, John? Remember that because I'm going to get even. That's the beauty of it. I'm going to get even.
mean, dude, you just lobbed that one up. You threw that one up. A big softball right there. I had to hit it out the park. Come on.
Hey,
now.
what's up, man? Big shout out to you, brother. Yeah. So I'm getting bagged on here right off the bat, Matt. This guy. So John, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, actually. You know, today I woke up a little more tired than I usually am. But I had morning, but I'm excited. And the reason why I'm excited is I have some of my boys that are on live with us right now. We have a couple newcomers listening to our podcast. So
big shout out to Mike. Mike just jumped on. What's up, brother?
Yeah.
Big shout out to all you guys out there.
They're going to be popping on right now. So I'm trying to figure out how do I get into this chat where's this chat that you guys are talking to people? How do you know they're on?
Oh, we can't allow you into that chat, John.
Obviously, right.
They will ban us from Facebook and YouTube and
haven't enabled that for me, right? No, I get it. That makes sense now. So I just want to say hi to everybody out there and shout out to my boys that jumped on to listen. You listened to me all day talking on the phone, and I was given last week. So
yeah.
they've committed now to jumping on and listening to us every week
to
now.
jump in. So big shout out to Robert. Robert jumped on live here as well. So big shout out to everybody out there. Danielle, hey, Daniel Bowden. Big
Did you
shout
call
out.
him Daniel? Wow. You call Daniel Bowden
Guys,
Danielle, dude. Holy shit.
You see what I have to deal with, guys? Like this is constant.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Oh,
So
dude, poor
hey,
Daniel.
Howard, big shout out. Oh, hey, Howard, why hi John? Why not hi Edgar and Zach? What's going on, man? What the hell? So John, you got a shout out over here, a big hi from Howard Pringle. Who's that?
Howard Pringle, another friend of mine. He owns a pool service. Really good guy. Very smart. A lot of good brains.
That's good. So, hey, for all the new listeners here that are on here, I'm going to do a little backtrack here because if you didn't listen live to our last podcast that we put out, John went a little bit philosophical on us, right, Zach? He kind of went deep with us, right?
As always.
Yeah. So hold on before I continue with that comment. So, your boys are having fun with you over here today. I think I'm going to enjoy this podcast today because they have started, and Mike is saying it's okay. He acts like a chick.
We're talking about Daniel.
Hey, John, how's the heat down there? Already 85 degrees up here in Ventura, and I can only imagine down there. So, that's crazy. So, hey, for all you guys listening, so John went a little bit philosophical on us last time, right, Zach, when he was talking about the whole Steve Harvey parachute or jump kind of thing. So I edited the podcast. I started listening to it. And John, you were like on this like deep conversation, and
Really?
I got sucked into it. I really got sucked into it. So I use a lot of my OK Google and Cortana to just kind of do my searches and stuff like that. So I kind of say, hey, OK Google, play Steve Harvey parachute or jump. And I just want you to show what comes up because you must have gotten it confused with something. Because watch this. I'm going to use this on my computer. Everybody listening, watch this. Cortana, play Steve Harvey parachute or jump.
I've been single for a long time.
Yeah.
And my friend suggests that I find an ugly man because he'll treat me like gold. Do you think that's true? Should I go out looking for an ugly guy?
That's 100% true. Ugly men are the best men you can get.
I love
Look,
that.
first of all, they don't get invited into a lot of people's homes. So when they get there, they really behave really nicely. Ugly men know how to fix things. You ain't got to worry about them cheating on you because don't nobody else want them. It's a wonderful experience. Get yourself an ugly man and fulfill. He'll work hard for you. He good for security, scare people off. Yeah, get your ugly man. All your dreams come true.
No, what the hell is that, John?
Well, that wasn't it. But look, dude, that wisdom, man. I don't think he's. You think he's wrong?
Hey, Zach, but
Well,
Zach,
why do you think Janie married me?
So here's where it all makes sense, guys. John is always bashing on me and Zach that we're the ugly ones of the crowd. And he's the one that I was always teasing that he's the good looking one. He plays this parachute thing, and that's what Cortana brings up. So I'm like, what were you doing? Honestly, what were you were just messing with us? Because that's what comes up when you do the
bullshit.
Okay,
Are you being serious? No,
Yeah,
you look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
And you should play it. I don't know how I link because I think it's important. I'm gonna look it up. Steve Harvey parachute.
Oh my God, you guys! This is John just busting our
it's
chops
called
over
Jump.
here.
Here it is.
Oh,
Just look up
Jump. Well, you were saying,
or look up
you
Steve Harvey parachute.
Said
And it comes up as Jump.
So
Look
you said parachute, right? So the parachute one is the one for the ugly men. It must be a parachute to kind of protect
You
yourself.
got to
with the
jump
old
to be
man.
successful. Look, I think it's worth. I, or are you the only one that has? No,
I
I won't
don't know.
play.
You can try to play it. I don't
No, I
know.
won't. Just look
John
up.
is the ugly pool dad I always wanted.
Who said that?
Michael Bluff Mike.
Perfect.
You're gonna have a rough crowd over here, and you know what? I'm loving it, guys, because he always bashes on me and Zach. So you know what?
got
Just
it.
keep it coming, boys. Keep it
What-
coming.
What chat
So-
are you on, Edgar? I'm not getting any of that.
You're not
Yeah.
getting any of that? Come
I'm only on
on,
Facebook
man.
chat.
Come on, man. So here's what you're gonna do, guys. Go
They're
to
DMing Edgar all this stuff about you.
No. So you know what? I'm going to send you right now as we get into the next section. I'm going to send you guys the login so you can log into the website, and then you'll be able to see all the chats in one. So we have Restream, and what it does is if people are on YouTube or Facebook or wherever they're at, it just sends it to one page. That way, all the comments are together. So, anyways, so
2 years later, we finally get to look at it. Thanks, Edgar.
must be IG. People's choice phone line is what they're saying over here. Man, these guys are on fire over here. This thing is like it's not stopping. It's hard to kind of concentrate here today. There you go.
Oh boy.
Oh man, these guys are on fire. So, all right, guys, let's kind of jump and get this podcast started a little bit here today. So, the first thing that we want to talk about is if you guys have questions you want answered on the podcast or on Instagram, go to poolnation.com. At the top button, there is one that says submit questions. Click on that. You can submit your questions. John, Zach, and I will go ahead and answer those questions. Let's see here. John, like I have got to send you this login
Please.
because literally I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 messages within the last like 15 seconds. They're just they're just lighting you up.
I'm telling you. So I need to get visibility of it because they know I'm not what the hell they're saying. So they know I can't get pissed.
And they're saying here that I'm sure are inside jokes.
They're just
letting it rip.
Oh, for sure.
They're letting it rip. So,
sure.
Yep. So, hey, worst customer experience so far. So, anyways, all right, guys. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, and I had made a mistake on this, is you guys can go to our merch store. We did open our merch store. Here's the mistake that I did, guys, is when I set up the pages, it was only displaying, I think, like 18 of our products, and we have over 50 in there. So you guys can go back to the merch store now and you'll be able to see everything on there. So just go to poolnation.com. You'll see a big button that says merch store. You click on it. It'll take you there. And we have everything from hats, shirts, backpacks, aprons. We have it all. The other thing is we have a financial business class on April 23rd. For those of you that are interested, you can send me a message or you can go to poolnationonline.com or poolnation.com. You will be able to register there. I believe we only have one spot left for that one. So go register. That's the one where we talk about the different business types, the Pool Nation metrics. We talk about the common reasons why businesses fails. We talk about insurance, billing software, setting it up so that it works for you. And then we go into the deep dive into accounting. We do a full profit and loss exercise so that you enter your numbers. And by the time that you leave, you're going to know your true cost of service, your true repair profit. And by the time you're done, you're really going to know where your business is at when it comes to making money. So go there, check it out, and register. So Michael Bluff over here is saying it's a great class. I've done it. So, they're asking for Pool Nation golf balls. That's actually a good one, John.
Oh, dude, that's badass.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So Mike Bluff over here, one-on-one coaching is a game changer. Thanks for that, Mike. So guys, I want to talk about the challenges that everybody's going to be seeing going into summer of 2022. So we're obviously April, and I want to talk about the different areas and get your thoughts on them. I want to talk about obviously the chemical situation. I want to talk about product availability and the supply chain issues. I want to talk about the labor market and employee retention. So let me start by asking each one of you maybe where you see the biggest challenges for us as a pool industry going into summer of 2022. Who wants to start? John, you want to go first?
I'm gonna let Zach go, actually. on this one
Huh.
because I'm going to get deep
Okay.
on this one.
Okay, while
Okay.
you guys get deep, I'm going to send you that message so you guys could get into
Okay.
this chat over here.
Okay. All right. Um, so for challenges going into this year, I know recruiting is going to be an ongoing thing. It has been for the last few years, and I think we'll talk about it a little bit more later on. Obviously, product and pricing availability is going to continue to be a challenge. I think that on our end, we're seeing that let up just a little bit, but we've changed a lot of how we do things. We're ordering things in advance. We're putting in these orders way ahead and they're getting filled way down the line. And I think that's going to continue on. And then something kind of outside of what we've been talking about that I think, at least what we're experiencing, is there seems to be a big demand for our services, for pool related services. And it's going to be hard to say no to all of these customers that are coming in wanting us to do this or do that when we don't have the capacity, right? So putting people on a waiting list, we're doing that right now. And it's kind of a challenging thing because you just want to tell everyone yes and get out there. But we have to be kind of aware of what kind of workload we can handle and what kind of workload we can put on our team so that we're not just burning out or burning our people out. So I think that one's going to be something interesting this year.
Well, I'm glad I let you go first because I guess I'm not going to get that deep because you actually say, which is right on. So you guys know we get a script, well, not necessarily a script, but just like bullet points of talking about, so we have an idea. And I never look at them, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm looking at this is what I'm going to talk about, and then I hear Zach talk about it, and I'm like, okay, Zach just said what I said, so I'm gonna ditto, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the last point. I think that a lot of us are not paying attention to. We're all hyped up and worried about product inventory issues, prices, the summer heat, right? Those are the things we've been talking about for years now, or for the last couple of years at least. And we all kind of have that issue going into summer, but this year, because of COVID and the pandemic and what we've been through, I think we have a whole host of new products. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to all the pool service companies that are still around, because there are a lot of companies out there that have right. I can't tell you how many routes are being sold, or how many people that I know that have put the pole up and said, "Hey, I'm done. I want to go do something else. This isn't working for me." So if you've made it into the summer, you've done what you've needed to do to survive, but it's not over yet. And I think we're going to have a problems. And Zach nailed it perfectly. Started seeing it. We've always had an influx or a constant flow of new customers calling, or people looking for work and repair. But as of almost like quadrupled for us, and it is a little overbearing to have all these phone calls, especially for those of us that are entrepreneurs and are business owners. We're hungry for money, right? This is what we're doing. I mean, we know that work equals money, and we have a goal and grow our business, and we want to do more and more and more. And the problem is when we're faced with that situation, or an abundance of, sometimes we start to slack in other things that are very important, and that could be as little as like quality of work, employee morale. When things shit can hit the fan really quick, and you have to be disciplined enough to either figure out what your capacity is, like Zach said, and know how much work you can take on without it causing any issues with what you've already built, if that makes any sense. And it's a beautiful problem to have, but it can be dangerous if you don't use it correctly, or if you don't take advantage of it correctly. And I just want to say it's okay to say no sometimes, if that by saying no, you're able to protect yourself, protect your business, and not run yourself, run yourself into the wall, because you're just running around trying to figure out how do I get this done? How do I get this done? How do I do this? Or start, you know, overworking your employees and promising or over promising and under delivering, right? So it's a dangerous, it's a dangerous situation we're in if we don't capitalize on it correctly. So I think Zach nailed it 100%.
And just yesterday, I had two conversations with pool pros, and they were saying the same thing. So they're obviously getting a lot of calls. They're starting to see people in the area that are dropping off and all that kind of stuff. And it's a prime opportunity, right? Because both of them were telling me, I'm not taking on any more pools. I can't take on those pools. Excuse me. And with both of them, I said, whoa, 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 whoa. What do you mean you're not taking any more pools? Well, with everything that's going on and all the craze, I'm like, this is a prime opportunity for you to capitalize. Excuse me, like John is saying. So what you should do is you should look at what rate you have. And I told them both, I go, you're going to grab your rate and, drive that rate up another $40 to where you want to be. And then what you do is you go to those new pools, you quote those at those higher rate. If you get them, great, right? You've got another pool. You can now do what John talks about all the time, which is a top 10, bottom 10. And this is the prime opportunity in the prime window to do that. So, look at all the opportunities that are out there. And yeah, you're not taking on new accounts because you're going to do what John says with the top 10, bottom 10, you're going to drop those down. But what that's going to do, guys, is that's going to push your profitability straight up to the top. And now's the time to do it because we don't always get opportunities like this where you're in such high demand. People are dropping off because they just can't stay in business. So now's a prime opportunity for you to take advantage of that. So
Yeah. And then
what are your
look,
thoughts on that, John?
no, I think you 100%. I want to end it with this. And this is my biggest fear, right? A reputation takes years to build, right? And one day to destroy. So not that we're not able to make mistakes as business owners or as companies, but it's very important that you stick to your core values and you don't make those mistakes what you've built because you're overextending yourself. So take advantage of this opportunity like Edgar's talking about. You've reached your capacity. Well, instead of turning, now go out there with a different mindset like we talk about and figure out, why should I not have this pool, right? Why I don't need this pool, and see if becomes a much better client or a much more profitable client, and you're able to now get rid of some of the less profitable accounts that you have, and in turn you're doing this. You're able to make a little bit more profit now because you have. So there's always a silver lining to any situation. It's just important that we just don't fly into this blindly with our heads cut off, trying to get as much work as we can. Because if you're in this for the long haul, it can do more damage to your reputation than help it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So let's jump into each section and kind of break those down. So let's start talking about the chlorine situation. So, like John said, we're starting to see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel because we know that BioLab will kind of be online by next year. So that's a big, huge relief, right? We'll have all that kind of coming into the product. So that'll take a lot of pressure off. And it allows us to strategize because now we really kind of know, right, what that date is, and we'll get to the end of the tunnel. I was with a pool pro yesterday and he called SCP to order some tabs, and the cost was $205.93 for a 50-pound bucket. Okay. So those prices they're still up there. And he asked them, hey, how much can I buy? And they were allowing him to buy a pallet at a time. And a pallet, I think, has how many, Zach? 24 buckets? Is that right?
Something like that.
Something like that. So, so we're seeing some of the availability that's out there, and we're kind of seeing that there's not a lot of restriction. Now, we believe that a lot of that is obviously a lot of the stuff that was in transit, and because of the supply chain, all those tabs from China and stuff like that, they're making it over here. But Zach, are you seeing the same thing out kind of towards Houston where you're at?
Yeah, it seems to be kind of a similar situation here. The prices are very similar and, continue to go up, but we seem to have much better availability. And a lot of what we're seeing is, maybe if we're back in the day, if product A was our go-to and we're using product A, product A, product A, well, right now, manufacturer of product A may not be here, but this manufacturer of product A is there. So we're seeing like this cycling of, a different brand or a different manufacturer for the same kind of product, whether a pump or a filter or say tabs. We get a bunch of these ones in and then they're all gone and now it's switching to this manufacturer. That's a little challenging when you kind of structure yourself in a way where this is the product you go to for this situation, your cost, what you charge. So it's a lot of like keeping up with pricing and POs and things like that. But I know a lot of people in our area have prepared this year when compared to this time last year, and they're stocked up on products. So it'll be interesting to see, do we have that mad dash that went on, kind of going into summer last year? Or is everyone kind of content? So you're not just going to see everything drained out all at once, and then it's a struggle for the remainder of the summer.
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully that's the case, because that would be great. And we have seen a lot of people, prepare for this year, so that's, great. And I think we just need to keep an eye on those dry products, because we don't know what the quantity of that product is. So we don't have access to being able to say, hey, there's, 100,000 buckets and that's all there is. Like, we don't have access to inventory. So I think we're starting to see that there's a little bit more availability. And at this point, that's a great thing. We just need to kind of keep an eye out. And then the other thing that we need to remember is that, pretty much starting in April, as you start to progress, you start to see about a 20% increase in consumption. And this is of a product, whether it's liquid or tabs or whatever, they see a 20% increase. So, for example, you have your consumption for April, and then May is going to be 20% higher than May. And then June is going to be 20% higher than May. And then July, the same pattern. So, you might think, oh, 20% is not a lot, but consumption from here to peak summer is 100% of what it is today. So, it's good that we're seeing some of that. Just, keep an eye out. What I would do is, log into the 360. You can kind of see the availability, just kind of look at it every so often to just kind of see what that inventory is, so that you can kind of stay on top of it and at least have a pulse. But I think we're in a better position that we definitely were last year. What about you, John? What are you seeing out there?
Look, I agree. I think some of the dry obviously have increased, and you would imagine it will, when it's cold, people aren't using tabs, right? And dry, some people are still using dry product, but I think that the demand for all that trichlor and all that dry product, whatever companies and wherever outlets we were getting that product from were on overdrive, continuing to produce. And they're finally starting to come in, and some distribution centers, and they're saying, well, I got tabs up the ass, right? I got so many tabs. Well, I'm afraid that there's going to be a false sense of security to think that we're going to be okay. The reality is, even though I see positive product, I still think that we're going to be going through a crunch going into summer. I'm hoping that a lot of pool pros out there, and I know quite a few of them that have done a great job of that they have a lot of stock going into summer, which, kudos to them. And I hope that's the reason why we have such excess, or we have a little more than expected in product. But the truth, that shit's going to dry up really quick. I personally believe it will. And that, that we need to also touch on, that the upstream raw materials that are used, chlorine, all types of chlorine are continue to be high. And there's and they're not looking like there's anything or any signs of those prices coming down anytime soon. So that tells us that we're not going to see a price drop anytime soon as maybe we're hoping that we would see. We've talked about these prices. I personally don't think are sustainable. Now, don't quote me on this, but I don't think $300 a bucket of tab is what we're going to pay in a year or 2 years. Do I think we're going to be back to $80 for a bucket of tabs? Absolutely not going to happen. Those prices,
Those days are gone.
Those days are only way those prices will come back. There's only one way, is if there's a shift in the industry where the demand for trichlor reduced, right? And you don't have that supply and demand. And if people switch over to more liquid feeder forms of sanitizing their pool or chlorinating their pool, just like it just works with everything. When there's a and not many people want it, the cost of it goes down. Anytime soon, within like the next year or two. So that the prices will eventually start to retract, but we'll never see those sub $100 buckets of tab. I don't think in 2022, and probably not, and not in 2023 for sure. We might see the products on the shelves. It's going to cost us an arm and a leg to purchase them. So we mind, just because we see some inventory, we have to plan and budget that the cost of obtaining that bucket times, in some cases 2.5 times what it was last year. So
Yeah, and we also have to some other things we have to look at is the cost of freight and the cost of fuel, and this is something that could
on it. And I don't know about y'all, but gas here, and I think I saw a news story on like a national average,
has kind of dipped a little bit, but it's nothing close to what it was just a short period ago. So that is going to continue to affect our prices.
Yeah, and some of the things that we're hearing, that's a great point. Both, John, that great point, and Zach. And a lot of, I think what they're seeing is a lot of companies are starting to see, those freight charges and the gas charges. And so now what's happening when you deal with all the suppliers and distribution is they get their invoice, and then they have these surcharges for the freight, and they have the surcharges for the gas. So, hopefully we don't get to the point where it's like we've kind of maxed out. Here's the price for the chlorine, but now there's one more thing that we need to worry about, right? So, because what's going to happen is that freight charge and that fuel surcharge is going to get passed to them, and then it's going to cost them more money. So what happens at that point as a business, you sit there, you calculate that into your profits and all that kind of stuff, and you decide whether you need to pass that cost on or not. So that's another great point. And another big conversation that's happening now, guys, and I'm trying to do a little bit of research on it, but that is, there's big talks of algicide shortages for this summer. So we're kind of trying to figure that out. I know that sodium bromide over the long run, and we'll have somebody come on and kind of explain that whole sodium bromide process, but eventually sodium bromide for pools will be kind of non-existent, so that people will stop making the sodium bromide. So we'll kind of get into that whole conversation on a different point. But the next topic that I wanted to talk about, guys, is product availability and supply chain issues. And I know that we've seen some products and equipment now become a little bit more available from what we've seen, but what I'm seeing is a little bit more different from store to store. And so what I mean by that is I can see some inventory and I'll see that somebody has 20 pumps, and then the next 5 stores all the way around them, none of them have pumps. Or there is certain products that, are still available and some are in back order. So what I'm tending to see is a little bit of that imbalance. What are you guys seeing out in the field?
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing. But you kind of, it brings up the point that I was talking about before, manufacturing side, right? And I can't help but think about this. Not only price increases that we have to deal and we have to absorb as businesses, but we have inventory issues. And then now that when we finally do get inventory, right, now we're having a problem with the product and that the product's not working, or there's we have issues. And it's the same, you have these big billion-dollar, million-dollar corporations that are going through the same shit. And it's what I'm trying to warn us as service people. When you take, you try to do as much as you possibly can. Something gives, right? You can't, it's just something has to give. You can only give 100%, and that 100%, you have to allocate that percentage to whatever you deem is necessary, whatever you deem is important. And when you take on more than you can possibly do, and I commend them, right, for trying to push things out and try to do what you need. We've seen the aftermath of it, and I'm not going to name specific products from multiple manufacturers that we're having issues that we've never had issues before with. And now, when we have to wait for something for 6 months, and then when we finally get it, it's a piece of shit and it doesn't work. All right. And then now I got a customer that I have to worry. Now we're in a whole heap of, it's a whole. So, these are the things that are like, I mean, this is the stressful part of business, right? When things are out of your control. I can make a decision to do certain things, right? Or, there's a lot of things that are in my control, but when I have to relinquish some of that ownership or that control, and I am now, I'm dependent on somebody else to come through on what they say they're going to come through, and it doesn't happen, it puts us in a bad position. So, it's just a whole now that we're dealing with. But again, we'll get through it, and we'll do what we need to do. As far as like the product inventories between branches, it happens, and I see it. And the truth is, most of it's bullshit. You go into these scene, and everybody's hiding product. And some people have it, some people don't. Some say they have it, some say they don't, but they really got product back there, and you can check and see, and they those, or they got this bullshit. And it's just games that you have to play, and it's already hard enough, and it just wish we just kind of figure this shit out. But it's kind of always been like that. But when it gets to where things and for product is really, really high, you start this shit happening. And it's frustrating, but you just have to be persistent, make relationships with the crew that and start asking questions, and not okay, well, when will we have it? What do we need to do to get one? Who can I contact? And just start being persistent and doing what you need to do. So but yeah, I see it all the time, as far as pumps,
and that's a great point. That's something I hadn't even thought about with regards to the products and some, the warranty issue. That's huge.
Yeah, and I want to jump in. I mean, everything John was just saying, that's exactly what we're seeing here. And we don't shop at too many different places, but from company to company, the trend of what they have seems to be the same. If we're out of product A with this company, then this company seems to be out of product A. But what John was saying, between branches, we're seeing, this branch over in this state may have 26 of what we're trying to get. There's 0 here locally, but they're not releasing it because, and I get it, they're trying to take care of their customers there, but it just becomes super frustrating. It's like, it's right there within reach. We've already got our customers that have been waiting for this. Like, we need that product. And I think the freeze last year just really made that a huge deal. A little bit more of like that, I guess, willingness to give up a product or transfer a product, but it's still just trying to plan ahead. And these are the times where it really matters, the relationship that you build with whatever supplier you're going with. And, just talking to a lot of people that I know that work at distribution or whatever store, and the beating that they took, a lot of those people don't have control of the situation. And all last year, I mean, I heard about fights almost breaking out in different branches and things like that. And the things that people were saying or how they were treating them was just terrible. And it's times like this where, there may be one in town and you're extra nice. You've always been nice. You've been patient. You've treated them with respect. You've done business with them. And maybe it magically shows up, so it's times like this where that stuff really matters, and things will smooth out, and then somewhere down in the future, years down the road, there'll be another hiccup with the economy or whatever. So just try to be nice, try to build those relationships, but we're seeing pretty much the same thing as everyone else.
And those are absolutely great points, and we talk about it all the time. Is really building relationships is key. So if you're somebody that's out there, you don't like to build a lot of relationships, at some point having those connections will help you. So really make sure that you network and make connections with either other pool pros in the area, with the sales reps, going to the shows. Networking is just as important. Hey, Zach, John, let's take a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we will continue. Zach, I'm going to keep thinking about that link that John said about the ugly thing, because I'm kind of getting a little bit of a complex over here, because I think he threw that in our face to make fun of us, and he's just kind of like laughing it off over there. Like, look at him. He's just kind of like laughing over there, like I pulled that over them when
He's
they
very
played it.
insecure, John.
He
He's
is
very
isn't he?
insecure
Well,
about his looks.
when you bring up his shoe size, he gets it really hits him hard. Sorry, Edgar, I crossed the line. My apologies.
All right, guys, let's take a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
The SPPA is dedicated to the niche general liability insurance needs of pool and spa professionals. As industry leaders, we'll fight for you, protect you, and be there for you. We provide extraordinary service before and after the membership and insurance is in effect. Insured members of the program get the best customer support and have peace of mind that their alliance is their voice and always fighting for their program and insurance needs. We proudly insure thousands of pool and spa professionals across the United States. With over 30 years encompassing the pool and spa industry, we know the needs of pool and spa professionals. Through the SPPA program, there are 3 tailored and customized general liability insurance options to pick from. For more information on our programs and insurance options, visit our site at www.thesppa.com. The sound of you continually pitching pool care poles into the trash. The sound of you using an Ultimate Pool Tools carbon fiber pool care pole for years to come. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add recurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Welcome back, everybody. Zach, John.
Echoing.
I'm echoing. My thing is wigging out. So what we're going to do is I was just messaging you. I'm going to drop, and then we're going to jump back on.
Really?
I'm going to hang up, and we'll jump back on.
You got. Bye.